Hello everyone, Michael here for Tactica Imperialis with another part for reviewing 7th edition. I didn't say I was going to do a second part because I didn't think I'd have the rulebook still, but I do, so I'm going to do another video. And this one I'm going to talk specifically about the Maelstrom of War missions. These are the 6 new missions that were added to the rulebook as part of 7th edition, and they are the missions that use tactical objectives. If you saw our battle report, which I will probably put a link to in the description, you can watch one of the missions, which was mission 4, but I'm going to go over all of the missions here and offer my thoughts, because this is something completely new to the game, the tactical objectives, and while I think it's a good idea in concept, I do think the missions have some issues that I want to highlight. So, same as with Eternal War missions, you roll the d6 at the start to generate your mission. You can, I think, just pick as well. They did give you that option, but the general thing you do is roll the d6. Mission 1 is called Cleanse and Control. This is pretty bog standard, I would say. You use diagonal deployment zones, 12 inches from the centre. You have the 6 tactical objective markers, and each player generates 3 tactical objectives at the start of their turn. Simply, achieve as many tactical objectives as possible is the victory conditions. Whoever's got the most points at the end is the winner. You still get the 3 secondary objectives, and if you have less than 3 tactical objectives on the go at any one point, you must draw until you have 3. So let's say you complete one, you now have 2, you then have to draw another one. This is quite easy, and I think this is probably the safest mission to play when introducing to tactical objectives, because it's nice and simple, and even if you don't like the diagonal deployment, you can just pick another one. It also includes reserves, night fight. It says night fighting is in effect, or actually no, it just says it has night fighting, and you just choose if you want it or not. I do think this is a good mission, and this is probably one I would recommend the most that you guys try out if you're going to start. Mission 2, Contact Lost. This one has a long table edges deployment, so pitch battle deployment. So if this was the board, long table edge, and these are your deployment zones. Again, 6 tactical objectives on the board, as all the missions do, and each player generates 1 tactical objective. At the end of the game, most victory points wins, secondary objectives still in place. In terms of scoring, if you have fewer than 6 tactical objectives on the go, you must generate 1 new tactical objective for each objective marker you currently control. So if you give me a moment. They're too big. 1 minute. Okay. So there's an objective. There is an objective. And there is an objective. I know. Suspend disbelief for a minute. So you have 1 tactical objective on turn 1. At the start of the game. Let's say at the end of turn 1, you control this objective and this objective. You have less than 6 on the go, so you generate 1 for each objective you control. So you generate 1, 2. If your opponent then has this one, they draw 1 card. Let's say then in your turn 2, you take that objective, but in an assault, you lose control of this objective. You then still have 2 under your control, 1 and 2. So you generate another 2. So you have 5. Up until you have 6, at which point you stop drawing, until you achieve anyway. So this obviously means that you have to control objectives to win. If you control objectives, you can generate tactical objectives, which allows you to score and allows you to win. Therefore, the onus on this game is on troops and objectives secured, particularly. I do think this game can get very slanted very quickly. If one person has a rapid response army that quickly grabs 3, 4 objectives, that person is then going to have 3, 4 tactical objectives under their to draw next turn, meaning they can score much faster than their opponent can, which is annoying. Mission 3, Tactical Escalation. This one uses horizontal deployment. So you deploy here and here and work this way. Or of course, again, you choose. Each player generates one tactical objective start the first turn. At the start of their turn, a player has fewer active tactical objectives than the current turn number, must generate a number of new tactical objectives until he has a number equal to the current turn number. So on turn 1 you have 1. On turn 2 you will have 2. On turn 3 you will have 3. Even if you've completed, you just draw up until you have that many. Meaning that as the game goes on, you've got more objectives that you can complete. Meaning this game is all about scoring late. So this game is going to probably be the one game that will go right to turn 4 before anybody can run away with it. Because once you get to turn 4, you can score quite highly. But on turns 1 and 2 particularly, you're only going to be probably scoring 2 points, maybe getting 2 rolls of a D3 if you've got some really high objective scores, which is unlikely. So this is good. I do like this mission, and I think this is one mission that would be pretty well balanced, although once you get to turn 4 and 5, it could start to become a runaway. Mission 4, the Spoils of War. This is the mission from our battle report. Again, these two are your deployment zones. Whoops. And this one, in this mission, neither player can choose to voluntarily discard any objective titled Secure Objective X. So you cannot discard Secure Objective 1 or Secure Objective 4 or whatever. You have 3 tactical objectives on the go at any time, and if you have less, then you generate until you have 3. In this mission, all active tactical objectives titled Secure Objective X can be achieved by either player. So this basically means you can steal your opponent's tactical objectives. We probably played this wrong in our bat rep, but hey ho. A player must discard when it is achieved regardless of who scored it. Note that only your objectives titled Secure Objective X can be achieved by your opponent. Your other tactical objectives cannot. So you can't just have like cast a psychic power. If you've got it, if your opponent casts a psychic power, they don't steal it. For example, if one of your opponent's tactical objectives is Secure Objective 5, and at the end of your turn you control Objective 5, you achieve that objective. Your opponent then has to discard, and at the start of their turn, draw again. This is something we got wrong. We generated objectives at the end of our turn instead of at the start of the next one. That was our mistake, and I apologise for that. So this one, as you saw in our battle rep, can get pretty mad, because if one person has 3 objectives over this side and has them all, and the person over here draws 2 of them as their cards, your opponent's basically got 2 free victory points and you've got to go again. Meaning possibly that they could just keep scoring, which is very annoying. However, it does help keep a game in the balance. If your opponent gets an unlucky draw and you've just got a couple of objectives, you can claw your way back in if you get a little bit lucky. Although it does have its problems. You saw this in the battle report where we were scoring 3 or 4 points at the end of a turn because we got some weird D66 rolls. Mission 5, Cloak and Shadows. Each player generates 3 tactical objectives. Most victory points is the winner. Primary objective is attack objectives. It's pretty easy, this one. It's basically the same as Mission 1, which was Cleanse and Control, I believe. And in that mission, you could see your tactical objectives. In this game, you keep your objectives secret. This is problematic with the D66, because you have to keep your D66 rolls completely secret from your opponent, which is annoying. But with the card, this is very easy. You just pick it up, look at it, put it face down. Nice and easy. So this is a nice mission. I think this one is probably the best mission of all, because it's got all the simplicities of Cleanse and Control, plus your opponent can't just react to your cards in order to nullify you, which is something that is doable and is quite annoying. So I'm quite glad of this mission. I like it, and I'll hopefully get a chance to play it, because I do like this one. Mission 6 is Deadlock. This one, I think, is the most broken mission of the lot, because you start with 6 tactical objectives, and at the end of your turn, you can only have as many as the turn number. Well, actually, no, you discard 1 because of the turn number. So on turn 1, you have a maximum of 6. On turn 2, you have a maximum of 5. Turn 3, maximum 4. Turn 4, 3, 5, 2, 6, 1, 7, 1. You could still have a tactical objective if it goes to turn 7. So the onus is on. You must complete your tactical objectives fast. Really, really fast. Because if otherwise, you'll end up chucking them away. So if you don't secure on turn 1, you lose a card. Although I'm not sure quite how. It's discard of your choice. So you do get to get rid of the cards that you don't want. For example, if your opponent's got a far-flung objective and you've got that card, you can get rid of it, which is better, but it still means you've got less cards available. And if your opponent on the other side scores 4 cards on turn 1, they're going to have 5 on turn 2. They score 2 of those, and it'll be very quick before they're running away with it, particularly if you can't score quickly. So this one, the onus is on scoring fast and scoring rapidly, really, and I do think this mission has the most problems with it, because in this mission, a fast scoring army that scores quickly, i.e. gets a psychic power off, or destroys a building with a melter bomb, or secures 3 different objectives at one go, will score a lot faster, which is a bad thing and a good thing, because it requires players to play very aggressively, but it allows, if an army is very static, for it to be run over very quickly because it can't react. So, in terms of the missions overall, my favourite has to be Cloak and Shadows, because the Secret Orders just add an extra dimension for me. I've got the most concerns about Deadlock and about Spoils of War, one from experience, one from just general worries. In terms of the objectives themselves, because this is an integral part, they require a lot of bookkeeping. For example, in our battle report, we rolled the same number several times, and that meant we had to keep re-rolling, and we had to keep checking, did I roll this one earlier? And it does get frustrating, and you have to keep track of which ones you've scored, and if you've done it before, and it's long-winded. The cards are a far better system. If you've got the objective cards, perfect. If you're on the D66, not so good. It's frustrating sometimes having to do so much bookkeeping. I don't want to be bookkeeping, I want to be gaming, you know? So that's my only concern with the missions, and they have some issues. For example, if a Tau player draws psychic powers, they have to discard that card at the end of their turn. I think you can discard that, which is good. So that's all for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did, and leave any comments below with your opinions. Thank you for watching. My name is Michael, and I will see you again.